Welcome to Nice and Blunt. My name is Adam Riancho, and we are live on YouTube. It's officially Sunday morning, and here we go. It's the start sit video for week 7. So, very exciting. Got kickoff in less than 2 hours here. It's 10:11 a.m., and it looks like we already got some questions all ready to start. I'm going to wait just a little bit just to make sure y'all who did post a question can get back into the video, back in the chat, and I don't answer these questions while you're not watching. So just going to give it a minute or two, and we will get into it real quick. But this is my lineup this week. This is my team. 4th and 20 in the subscriber league. I'm going with Brock Purdy over Kirk Cousins this week. As I've mentioned to you already in the rankings videos. And then I'm a bit depleted at running back. I'm hoping A.J. Dillon has himself a good week. And Jalen Warren would be my RB2. Cooper Kupp, Jordan Addison, Drake London at flex. And then Goddard hopefully has a good game. He's been a little brutal this season. But then I'm rolling with the Raiders defense over the Steelers. I benched the Steelers for the Raiders. And Jake Elliott is my kicker. But as I mentioned, I'd only give it a minute or two. Let's get into these questions with Greg Chavez, numero uno. Greg Chavez is asking, do I start A.J. Dillon or Zach Moss? I think you're going to go Zach Moss. I mean, the game in Denver is in the afternoon, so we're not going to know full stop on Aaron Jones until then, whereas I believe the Zach Moss game is in the morning. Pretty sure that that's the case. Let me check the inactives at the moment. Pretty sure that's the case. Yes, that is indeed the case. So unless we have some clear understanding that Aaron Jones is not going to play, but he's definitely expected to play, I would roll with Zach Moss. I think I trust Moss a little bit more. I have him ranked higher as well. Let me pull up my rankings here real quick. Get a little situated on my desktop first. Okay. No, not that one. We want that to stay there. Okay. Yeah, I have Moss at number 18, and then I have A.J. Dillon at 25. So I would be rolling with Moss. Moss here at 18, Dillon down below at 25. And I think Moss has been very consistent, very solid. And I know the matchup against Cleveland is brutal. Meanwhile, the matchup for Dillon is amazing. But I think I trust Moss's production a little bit more. And if you completely disagree with me that the Colts have any shot to win this game, then I understand why you may not want to start Zach Moss. But I just don't really trust Dillon unless Aaron Jones is out. And it's definitely a risky play. Dillon has looked brutal. That touchdown against Vegas was the only thing that has been going for him at all this season. And again, that came when Aaron Jones wasn't on the field. So I think Jones is going to play, and I think that's going to limit the upside for Dillon. I think Moss has a very secure floor and does have that touchdown upside. Wouldn't be shocked if they lean on the run significantly in this game. So I think I'm going to go Zach Moss. But it's a good question. It's definitely hard to fully gauge what to expect with the Colts against a great Cleveland Browns defense. But I think they win, and I think Moss and Taylor are both involved. Give me Moss over Dillon. But Carlos Godinez is asking wide receiver Deontay Johnson or Kendrick Bourne PPR. I don't trust Bourne, my friend. I know he's had some big games this season, and there is a chance that Juju and what's his face, Demario Douglas do not play. But here, let me pull up the inactives real quick. At the moment, they're not even listed as toss-ups. It's not listing Juju or Demario, so I don't think that they suit up. Let's just make sure that that's valid. Let me guarantee you that answer. We're checking the Patriots wide receivers. So Juju is questionable, according to here. And he's not expected to suit up. Interesting. Okay. And then what about Demario Douglas? Douglas is expected to suit up. Okay, so Douglas is definitely less involved than Juju, but Keishon Butte is not a player we're worried about. So actually, that makes Kendrick Bourne very, very interesting. I think that's a absolutely legit question. I'm tempted to go with Deontay, especially with no Fryermuth. But I wouldn't blame you for going Kendrick Bourne at all. I don't think that that's a bad decision. It's just like how much do you really trust the Patriots against the Bills as well? Like yikes, bro. That's a bit tough. So, um I think it's really close. Like let me pull up my rankings because I would be bumping up Bourne with the news that Juju's going to sit. And at the moment I have Deontay 33 and I have Bourne 43. So I think I'd be moving up Bourne to like pretty much right with him. Yeah. Around Chris Godwin, Romeo Dabbs, KJ Osborne. I think I'd prefer Bourne over KJ Osborne and definitely in the same tier as Godwin, Romeo Dabbs. So holy shit, that's really close. The matchup though for what's his face? Deontay. The Rams matchup is actually not that good. So I think I might go Bourne. I think in full PPR, I think there's a little more volume. I think I'd actually go Kendrick Bourne with no Juju. As long as that happens, that's something you need to guarantee. As long as Juju Smith-Schuster does indeed miss this game, I would go Kendrick Bourne. It's not like I'm loving that decision, but I don't really feel too confident in Deontay either. He's not a touchdown maker, so his upside is kind of capped. And Kenny Pickett, Mac Jones, kind of similar situation. I think there's going to be more of a catch-up mode for the Patriots. And I think I'm actually going to go Kendrick Bourne. Wow, that feels weird to say, but good question, Carlos. Give me Kendrick Bourne over Deontay Johnson. But you're also asking Cousins or Sam Howell. I'm definitely going to go Sam Howell. I do not trust Kirk Cousins at all this week. I have Cousins at like number 18. Meanwhile, I have Sam Howell at number 12 and Cousins at number 17. So I have Howell 5 spots above him. I'm definitely going Howell. I don't want to chase the primetime Kirk Cousins matchup against an elite Niners defense. That's a terrible spot. But Purdy or Stafford is also your question. And I would definitely be going with Purdy. I have Stafford at 13. Meanwhile, Purdy is up here at number 7 inside the top 10. I really trust Purdy. I know Debo's not going to play, but I don't think that matters. I think Purdy is very consistent, very solid. And this defense does not compare to the Browns in any way, shape, or form. Give me Purdy in prime time over Stafford, and then Sam Howell over Kirk Cousins. But Eric Caps is asking Purdy or Geno, and this is a very close call, but I think I'm going to go Purdy as well. I got Geno Smith at number 9, and I worry about Kenneth Walker scoring a ton of touchdowns. It's a great matchup for Kenneth Walker. I think he's going to really dominate on the goal line, whereas Purdy, you know, I think they're going to lean on the pass a little bit more. Even if Christian McCaffrey is available, which he should be, I think they'll throw it a little bit more to try to keep McCaffrey from getting hurt again, getting too many shots to the ribs. And I think Purdy is very safe, very solid. He's always good for like 252 touchdowns. I know that wasn't the case last week, but expect a big bounce back coming off the loss. The Niners are going to be hungry, very well prepared for Monday night. Give me Brock Purdy over Geno Smith. I feel pretty good. I'm starting him in the subscriber league, and I feel really, really confident he puts up close to 20 points this week. Like 18, I think, would be the projection for Purdy. Very, very consistent numbers from him. But Anthony Perkins is asking full PPR, should I drop Zach Ertz for Michael Mayer rest of season? It's not a terrible decision. I mean, this week I actually do rank Michael Mayer higher because I think Trey McBride is really coming on in Arizona. So I don't think it would be ludicrous at all. But the fact that you're in full PPR makes me want to give it one more week with Zach Ertz. I think there's still some good volume, And while maybe it could be a risky call to like leave Mayer on the waiver wire, I don't think he's going to go off with Hoyer under center. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they have some like really good practice reps together because Mayer was a little bit lower down on the depth chart. Mayer did see 6 targets last week, and Ertz still saw 5. But the thing is that Trey McBride also saw 5. So Mayer is ascending, but I can't say at this exact moment. I think he's better than Zach Ertz. Granted, I do have him ranked higher now that I think about it. Yeah, I have them back to back. I got Mayer at 15, Zach Ertz at 16. So it's really a close call this week. And if Trey McBride wasn't there, then I would definitely prefer Ertz. But it's possible that Ertz is about to get traded. The deadline is approaching, and Ertz, with his age in Arizona, might be on the move. I wouldn't be shocked at all to see that happen, where like a contender that like wants some depth at tight end goes for Ertz. So I would give it one more week. I would give it this waiver wire this upcoming waiver, whatever you call what the fuck is it called? uh, I would wait for waivers to run this week, and then hopefully at the trade deadline we will find out the full clarity on Zach Ertz. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he doesn't get traded at all. But I think until Jimmy G comes back, I don't trust Mayer enough. But I do think rest of season, I think I would go Mayer. Yeah, if you want to get an early crack at it, get him for free. Why not? Um, but in full PPR, I do still think that like today, this week, I'd rather have Ertz. But if you give it like 3 weeks, I think I'd probably shift to Mayer. Probably. So yeah, give me Mayer rest of season. But it's really close. Really, really close. Good question. Eric Caps is asking PPR pick 3. Rashee Rice, Josh Downs, KJ Osborne, and Jamison Williams. Okay, I'm definitely going Rashee Rice. I have Rashee Rice top 30 this week. Yeah, it feels risky as fuck, but the matchup is so elite for Rashee Rice, and he looks like the number one receiver in Kansas City. I'm a little bit worried about Mecole Hardman because Hardman was actually like solidly productive last season before his injury, and that chemistry isn't going to just evaporate because he spent a few months with the Jets. I do worry about Mecole Hardman a decent amount, but I'm definitely starting Rashee Rice this week. Great matchup for him. And in full PPR, I think I'm also starting Josh Downs. I have Josh Downs at number 40. So he's not like atrocious. He's a low end flex option, and I would bump him up in full PPR, going to get more volume. He's a check down machine. He's not like a deep threat at all. Don't expect him to score a touchdown, but I think in full PPR, I'd rather have Josh Downs over KJ Osborne. But I don't trust Jamison Williams. The volume just isn't there. While he is a deep threat, could score a touchdown. I don't think it's going to happen 2 weeks in a row. I'd rather go with a more proven commodity and a more proven target volume in KJ Osborne over Jamison Williams. So you need 3. I'm going with Rashee Rice, Josh Downs, and KJ Osborne. I am benching Jamison Williams. I think until he gets like at least 5 targets in a game, I can't trust him. Like, I know he caught that 40 plus yard touchdown last week, but it's just not going to happen every week. It's not consistent enough to bet on. I think he's still too risky. I have Jamison all the way down at number 49. So, yeah, I'm going with KJ, I'm going with Josh Downs, and I'm going with Rashee Rice this week. Those are the 3 I will be picking of the 4. But what are your thoughts on the Cardinals' backfield? You don't want it, bro. Until James Conner comes back, I don't trust anyone in the Cardinals' backfield. The highest ranked Cardinal running back I have is Keontae Ingram, and I don't feel comfortable with him at all. I have him behind Latavius Murray and Darrell Henderson at number 37. So no thank you. I think Damian Williams in full PPR is more valuable, and it's like a true committee. I don't think they're going to be a good offense at all without James Conner. I think he's really important for them at moving the ball. So I would not start any single Cardinals running back Keontae Ingram would be my preference, but at 37, no, thank you. Um, nah, gonna pass. Definitely not taking a chance on Keontae Ingram if I can avoid it. I mean, if you're in like a 16 team league, then I get it, but I doubt it. So let's move on to Ilias Giftopoulos. Aaron Jones or JT in full PPR. Also Godwin, DK, or Rashee Rice. The only hesitation I have to recommend Aaron Jones is that we don't know 100% if he's going to play. I think he's going to play. I feel decently confident about that, but it is an afternoon game, and we're not going to know for sure. Whereas I do have Taylor 5 spots behind him. So straight up, I would be going Aaron Jones. But his questionable designation does leave it a little bit up in the air. However, if you just look at a matchup standpoint, the matchup for Aaron Jones is elite. This is the number one matchup you could ask for, over 35 points per game to the running back position is being allowed by the Broncos. Whereas, like, you're looking at less than 15 points per game by the Cleveland Browns. So I would definitely be going with Aaron Jones, but I understand if you're like really concerned about him possibly missing or just being on a snap count that you would be worried about it. But like Jonathan Taylor's in a committee as well. So I would go Aaron Jones. It is risky if he's inactive, but I really don't think that's going to happen. Let's pull up the inactives. They're going to be updated in like 3 minutes, but I expect Aaron Jones to play. And that's why I think I'm going to roll with Aaron Jones. If you just don't want to take the risk, if you just want to bank the floor, then obviously the safer option would be JT. But straight up, I would be going Aaron Jones. In full PPR as well, I think he gets more targets, but not like a landslide more. I think it's pretty close. So, yeah, I just think the touchdown's much more likely to hit with Aaron Jones. So I think his ceiling is higher. But, if you don't want to risk it, then just put in JT because it is a game time decision with Aaron Jones. So not the best situation, but if you told me 100% that Aaron Jones was going to play, I would be going Aaron Jones for sure. I've answered your question. If you've enjoyed this video, we got 13 viewers, 4 likes, and I'd appreciate it to see that number go up. But yeah, thanks a lot. Let's move on. Let's get to Rock Out's question, where he's asking Love or Purdy and Washington defense or Las Vegas defense or Seattle defense. Okay. At quarterback, I am 100% going to go with Purdy. I believe Purdy is a top 10 QB this week. The matchup is great against the Vikings, and Purdy is usually very, very safe and a good spot start. I don't worry about him at all. Whereas Love, while he does have a great matchup as well, is very up and down. It's a great matchup for the running backs. It's a great matchup all around, and I could easily see all the touchdowns going to the running backs in this game. I'm a little bit worried about it, and Love is just much more inconsistent. I know Purdy didn't look amazing last week, but I would definitely be going Purdy at number 7, whereas I have Love at number 11. Give me Brock Purdy at QB. But then you're asking about a defense, and my favorite defense of the 3 that you asked about would be the Raiders. I've upgraded the Raiders to number 3. I have no confidence whatsoever in Tyson Bagent. There's no way Bagent puts up a good game. So I would really trust the Raiders defense. I trust the Seahawks as well. I got the Seahawks at number 4, but I have the Commanders outside my top 10. I'm not starting the Commanders in this situation. I'm going with the Raiders. And if you prefer the Seahawks, it is a divisional game. They should dominate the Cardinals. The Seahawks are a great start as well. I have 2 leagues, and in one I'm starting the Raiders, and in the other I'm starting the Seahawks, just to kind of have a little bit of eggs in both baskets in case one of them busts. But I think both of them are going to be really good. I got both top 5. I would prefer the Raiders though. Straight up, I think the floor is a little safer with a little extra upside too. I think there's a few more interceptions by Bagent, but yeah, it's not like the Cardinals scare you. So give me Love and Las Vegas defense among your 2 questions here. But Was going blunt? Goodwin or Jacoby? Do you mean Godwin? Because if you mean Marquise Goodwin, then there's no way I'm starting Marquise Goodwin. If you're asking Godwin, then that's a much closer question. Um, I believe I'm still going Jacoby. I think Biggest Bird, I think I'd be recommending Jacoby because I have Godwin here at 34, and then I have Jacoby at 26. I don't think Hoyer's like terrible, and like the Chicago Bears are not going to be competitive. I think there's going to be a lot of possessions available for the Raiders. Adams has been barking a little bit lately, has been, raising his voice, clearly upset about his usage, and Jacoby getting a ton of volume is a big reason why. So I do worry about Jacoby a little bit, but I think he's still the safer option. And Godwin does scare me a little bit. He hasn't been too consistent this season unless Evans has been banged up. So I'm going to go Jacoby, kind of a safer track record. I do rank him top 30, whereas I have Godwin outside the top 30. So give me Jacoby Myers over Chris Godwin. I'm pretty sure you mean Godwin. If you mean Goodwin, then no chance I'm going Goodwin. Definitely going Jacoby. But Brady on Ice is asking full PPR pick one for flex. Gibbs, Pittman, Aaron Jones, or Devontae Smith. Only one. Only one. Damn, I know Devontae has been kind of brutal lately, but that over-under point total in Philly this week is, I believe, the highest on the week. And I want to chase the points. I think they're going to need to really lean on the pass and, just sling it around the field in order to keep pace with the Dolphins. I do think the Eagles win, and I would be going with Devontae Smith. I know it's risky. I know he's been a bit brutal, but I have him ranked the highest. I have Devontae Smith. Where do I have him? I have Devontae Smith at 16, whereas I have Pittman at 18, and there's usually some solid volume for Pittman as well, but Devontae has been seeing like 9, 10 targets the last 2 weeks, and it's a similar situation, but the matchup is much better for Devontae. I will be going Devontae Smith. It's full PPR, so I definitely prefer the receiver. And while Aaron Jones is very tempting and a great matchup, not 100% guaranteed he plays. If he does, it's not a bad spot to be in. But I think there's just a little bit of risk. And running back 12 versus wide receiver 16, I think I'm going to go wide receiver. Gibbs, I have below Aaron Jones. And I want to rank him higher, but he is a little bit risky. Like the volume for him just hasn't been like truly elite this season. So I would be going Devontae Smith. I would go with Devontae Smith. I think that's a safe play this week. I think he's going to be good. I think Devontae will be top 20 and get that volume. I think the touchdown hits as well. I think Devontae has a high ceiling game in week 7. So give me Devontae Smith there. But Terrell T is asking J. Will Doubs, JSN, or Foreman standard. I assume you mean Jameson Williams, because there's also a Javonte Williams. There's also no, I guess there is not Jamal Williams. He already played. So I'm pretty sure you mean Jameson Williams. But if you mean Javonte, then please clarify in the chat real quick. I'll monitor the bottom. I know I'm a little bit behind here, but I'm not. If it's Jameson Williams, I'm not starting Jameson Williams. I'd rather go with Doubs. But it is standard. It's a little dicey. Yeesh. I'm hoping it's Javonte Williams. If it's Javonte Williams, then give me Javonte Williams here. But I don't feel good about like any of them. I'm not too excited. I think I'd go Doubs. If it's Jameson Williams, I'm going with Doubs. I have Doubs ranked top 40. Yeah, I have him at 35, whereas JSN is outside the top 40. Jameson would be at like 50, and then Deontay Foreman's like RB 30. I don't trust Deontay Foreman at all. So I would go Romeo Doubs, unless it's Javonte Williams. If it's Javonte Williams, then give me Javonte Williams. But give me Romeo Doubs in that circumstance. It's Javante. Okay, I see your comment down below. It's Javante. Give me Javante. Yeah, 100%. Especially in standard. Usually favor running back, and I think if there's one that finds the end zone here, it would be Javante. So yeah, give me Javante. Jacob Ander is asking a nasty question. Pick one PPR: Justice Hill, Keontae Ingram, or Daryl Henderson. Yikes. you know, in full PPR, I think I might go Daryl Henderson, bro. Um, I know that I think I might go Daryl Henderson, bro. Um, I know that Justice Hill has the role in the passing game, but it's like, it's a real toss up between him and Gus Edwards. And I only have Daryl Henderson a few spots below Justice Hill. So it's really close. I'm not going with Keontae Ingram. In full PPR, Damian Williams would be more valuable than Keontae. So Keontae would be moving down. So I'm actually going to roll the dice on Daryl Henderson in this spot. In full PPR, I think I would do it. I think that the Steelers win, and I think that there's some catch-up mode. Daryl Henderson has a pre-existing relationship with not just the Rams, but specifically Matthew Stafford as well. And I think that there's going to be some volume for him in the passing game. I'm starting to get really worried about Zach Evans, honestly. So I think I would go with Daryl Henderson in that spot. I think there's the highest ceiling, but it's very hit or miss. I think if you just want the safer floor, then I would go Justice Hill. I think that's the safest pick, but I think if you're trying to just shoot for upside, bro, I would go Daryl Henderson. I think that's what I would do. It's risky as fuck, though. Like, if he puts up 3 points, wouldn't be shocked, but Justice Hill could put up 3 points as well. He could find the end zone, though. Justice Hill needs the touchdown to hit. I think from a pure PPR standpoint, though, I think Daryl Henderson might catch a few more receptions. So pick your poison here, but it's either Justice Hill or Daryl Henderson. I think I'd roll the dice on Daryl Henderson. I think I'd go Henderson. But Terrell T is asking PPR Wan'Dale Robinson or Slayton. I feel Slayton will do well on the outside. I understand what you're saying, but I think Wan'Dale is the closest thing to a number one behind Darren Waller. I have Wan'Dale at 37. Meanwhile, I have Slayton at 46. I would actually go Wan'Dale Robinson. I like what I'm seeing from Wan'Dale Robinson. Some solid volume week in, week out. I would go Wan'Dale Robinson. But it's not like I feel like super confident about that. If you have a gut instinct that you just prefer Darius Slayton, then go for it. But if it were me, I'd be going Wan'Dale. In full PPR too, I think he gets more targets. But Slayton will be targeted a little deeper down the field. So yeah, good luck there. I'd go Wan'Dale. But Asher Wolfenson is asking Godwin or Addison and Najee or Warren. At wide receiver, I'm definitely going Addison. I have Godwin here at 34. Meanwhile, I have Addison inside the top 20. I know last week was kind of bailed out with that touchdown, but I definitely prefer Addison in terms of volume. I think they will be in catch-up mode. The matchup against the Niners secondary is not brutal, so I would be going with Jordan Addison for sure. He's the number one in that offense with no Justin Jefferson, and he should see close to 10 targets, most likely. But Najee or Warren, I prefer Jaylen Warren. I think Warren has been a little bit more proven in terms of upside. Najee scares me. I have Najee at 26, and I know he's the starter, but I think after the bye, I think they're going to lean a little bit more on their better player. I have Jaylen Warren at 21, and his PPR value is much, much safer. He's got more pop, he's got more burst, and I think if one of them scores a touchdown, I think it's going to be Warren. I know neither has done that this year, but I think Jaylen Warren would be my preference over Najee Harris. So give me Addison over Godwin and Warren over Najee. But Asher is also asking full PPR Godwin or Addison and Najee or Warren. So same question. In full PPR, it's the same logic. Give me Addison and Jaylen Warren. But Ilias Giftopoulos is asking Godwin, DK, or Rashee Rice in full PPR. It looks like DK is going to play. It looks like he's fine. Let me let me make sure. I know it's a little risky to wait on DK, but I think he suits up. I know he was only limited on Friday, but didn't practice earlier. I don't think he needs to fully practice in order to play. I'm not worried about him. He's a pretty durable guy. So I think he's the safest option. But obviously, there's a chance that he puts up a bagel. The thing is, you have Rishi Rice in the same time window. So that's going to be what kind of saves you, where you don't need to pivot to Godwin early. I have both of them ranked above Godwin. So I would be going DK as long as he's available. And then if he's not, I would be pivoting to Rishi Rice. Like I have DK here at 15, so I definitely prefer him the most. But then I have Rishi Rice at number 28, and they're both playing in the afternoon. So I think as long as DK is available, you're going to be starting DK. If not, I'd go Rishi Rice because I have Godwin at 34. I have Godwin ranked below Rishi Rice this week. So yeah, give me DK over Rishi. And then if there's no DK, I would go Rishi over Godwin. But you did mean Godwin, sorry. Yeah, I don't think it changed anything for you, biggest bird. I think you're still gonna go. I think you're still gonna be benching Godwin, in that spot. What was the question? Godwin or Jacoby? Yes, you're still going with Jacoby over Godwin. Um, but Apes is saying pick two PPR: JT Moss, Daryl Henderson, Royce Freeman, Jaleel McLaughlin. I think you're rolling with the two Colts running backs. I think you're starting Jonathan Taylor and Zach Moss. And while it does kind of cap your upside a little bit, not entirely. They could both have really good games. They could both be fine. I rank both of them top 20. I have them back to back 17 and 18. Meanwhile, I have Henderson, Freeman, and Jaleel McLaughlin outside the top 35. You're going Jonathan Taylor and Zach Moss. And maybe only one of them scores a touchdown, but you don't have to worry about starting the wrong one. You're going to have that touchdown regardless. Give me JT and Zach Moss. But Chiefs, Giants, or Rams defense? I believe I'm going with the Chiefs defense. Let me pull up my rankings for you. Terrell. I have the Chiefs. I have the Chiefs number 6. Meanwhile, I have the Giants outside the top 10. I also have the Rams outside the top 10. So, yeah, I have the Chiefs ranked highest. Give me the Chiefs versus the Chargers. I see like a 23-20 type of game. The Chargers probably going to turn it over at least once. The Chiefs defense has been playing really good this season. Give me the Chiefs defense this week. But Eric Fortis is asking who to flex, Jacoby Myers at Chicago or Lockett at home. Ooh, I think I have them back to back. I'm pretty sure they're really close. I have Lockett 29 and I have Jacoby 26. I'm going to go Jacoby. But yeah, it's a little bit risky with Poyer for sure. Not ideal. I think if you just want the safety net, then Lockett's interesting. Last week was good. It's a good matchup, but I really worry that there's no touchdown available for Lockett. I think Kenneth Walker is not going to share very much, but if you find out that what's his name? DK is unavailable, then Lockett would be the much better play. So Lockett's very interesting. DK is banged up, so I might be too low on Lockett now that I'm like really thinking about it. Specifically vis-a-vis Jacoby Myers. But I think I'd still trust Jacoby. He's been safer this season, a little more consistent. His role in that offense is really solid. I think I'd be going Jacoby in full PPR too. He usually sees more targets. So I think I'm going to go Jacoby. I do have him ranked higher, so I think I'm going to stick with the rankings. But I think if you want to pivot to Lockett, it's not crazy. I wouldn't question you if you were like, nah, I don't trust Jacoby with Hoyer this week. I'd rather just stick with Lockett. It's not a bad matchup for Lockett at all. So I think I'd roll with Jacoby just because he's been better this season. But yeah, it's very close. Give me Jacoby, though. Chris Corona is asking Musgrave or Pitts. Oh, damn it. I was fearing this question, honestly. I was like, when I did the rankings at tight end, I felt like I might be a little too low on what's his face? Musgrave. But I have Pitts right above him. I think Pitts has been very solid. 30 targets in the last 4 weeks. Very legit, very safe, very consistent. The matchup is elite for Musgrave, though. However, I think you trust Pitts' role a little bit more. Musgrave is still a little bit unproven. And I think if one of them was going to score a touchdown, I think it would be Musgrave. I think the ceiling is higher for Musgrave, but I think the floor is safer for Pitts. He's been rolling a lot more lately, and Ritter is getting him the ball pretty consistently. I think that offense is finally clicking, at least in the passing game, if you remove the interceptions from Ritter. So I would go Pitts just from like a trust level. Like he's the more talented of the two. But I think if you're just chasing upside, if you just want the matchup, Musgrave is not a bad pick this week. If it's full PPR, I think I'd also trust Musgrave just as much. I mean, I have him back to back, so it's your call. I think if you wanted to flip a coin, I wouldn't like fault you in any way, shape, or form. But I would go Kyle Pitts if it were me in half PPR. I think it's the safer play, but higher ceiling would be Musgrave. So do what you want. It's definitely close one. But Mauricio is asking, hi, would you go with Royce Freeman or Jeff Wilson Jr.? I'd go Jeff Wilson Jr. for sure. I think you'd rather be in the Dolphins committee than the Rams committee. We have no idea what to expect from the Rams committee, and I think Henderson is above him on the depth chart over Royce Freeman, and I think Zach Evans is going to be given a shot too. So I would be going Jeff Wilson over Royce Freeman. Jeff Wilson could easily score a touchdown, could kind of have a Devon A-chain type of role. I rank him top 30. I do not rank Royce Freeman top 40. Give me Jeff Wilson for sure. But you meant Darrell Henderson or Jeff Wilson? I'd still be going Jeff Wilson. I just don't know what to expect in the Rams backfield. I just don't. So I would be going Jeff Wilson for sure. I'd rather bet on the Miami game than the Rams game. But Low Keys is asking Jeff Wilson or Foreman, and that's much closer. I do have Foreman number 30. Yeah, I have him 30, but I have Jeff Wilson 27. I'm still going Jeff Wilson. I don't trust Foreman at all. That offense is going to look like shit with Badgett. So no thank you with Foreman. Even though he's in less of a committee, I'd rather go with Jeff Wilson. Ravens, Seattle, or Washington? I'm going to be going Seattle. I have Seattle top 5. I have Seattle at number 4. So that's how I feel about them. I think they're going to be really good this week. Meanwhile, the Ravens, where do I have the Ravens? The Ravens are kind of low. I'm worried about the Ravens against the Lions. Yeah, I have Ravens 19, and then I have Commanders at 11. So I would definitely trust the Seahawks. Arizona doesn't scare you at all. They can't run the ball. So give me Seattle in a division game. Should shut them down. Should play very well on defense. But thoughts on Michael Mayer? I'm very interested. I actually rank him top 15 this week. It's starting to get more involved. I like the talent a lot coming out of college. I actually had him as a first round pick. I was surprised that he fell a decent amount, but I like the landing spot with Josh McDaniels because he kind of reminds me a little bit of Gronk in terms of his skill set. I'm not saying he is Gronk, but from a pure receiving standpoint and blocking standpoint, I think his skill set is going to be very much capitalized by Josh McDaniels throughout his career. And I think he is definitely trending in the right direction. You definitely prefer Jimmy G under center, though. That's kind of a little bit dependent. But I think he's definitely worth picking up if you are not loaded at tight end and need a backup. I think Mayer's very interesting, but probably won't see more than like 5-6 targets in any given game. I think he'll just be, a streaming option in a good matchup. You might want to start him, but touchdowns are a little hard to come by in that offense. So good luck with Mayer, but I think he's top 15-ish rest of season. Bill Frolic is asking start Cousins or Watson. Yikes. That's not good. I don't want to start either of them. I gotta be honest with you. But if those are your options, then it is what it is. I do have Cousins ranked 17. I have Watson at 19. I don't trust Watson right now. I don't think he's fully healthy. He's expected to play, but I haven't really seen enough to trust him this year. And I know Cousins has a terrible matchup, is in prime time. Not a guy you trust, but I think I'd go Cousins over Deshaun. That would be my pick there. I'd go Cousins. But Joe Phelan is asking non PPR pick 2 Foreman, Hunt, Jay Wilson, Mitchell. I do have CMC. Okay, you are keeping CMC in your lineup. And if he doesn't play, if somehow, some way he's unavailable, then you're pivoting to Elijah Mitchell. I do think Christian McCaffrey will play, though, but I really do. I don't think the practice session yesterday was something that indicated he was going to miss. I think he's going to be fine. So you're 100% starting CMC, but my two favorites of your other four would be Kareem Hunt and Jeff Wilson. I have them both ranked inside my top 30. I have Jeff Wilson 27, and then I have Kareem Hunt 29. I have Foreman right behind Kareem Hunt at 30. So I am very hesitant to endorse Foreman this week. I hated what I saw last week, and with the backup QB, I really don't trust him. So I think I'm benching Deontay Foreman, going with Kareem Hunt and Jeff Wilson. But in terms of who I would have over the other, I would go Jeff Wilson over Kareem Hunt. So if you only need one aside from Christian McCaffrey, then it would be Christian McCaffrey and Jeff Wilson. If you still need two, it would be Jeff Wilson and Kareem Hunt. But if CMC doesn't play, you're going to insert Elijah Mitchell and hope for the best. Good luck to you, Joe. But Marcus Johnson is asking Josh Palmer, Curtis Samuel, or Josh Downs. I would go Curtis Samuel. I have him very closely ranked to Josh Palmer. I have Palmer right above Samuel. I have them back to back. Josh Downs I have at 40. So it's between Palmer and Curtis, and I think Palmer is a slightly higher upside type of play. They're definitely going to need him, and he's the clear number 2 in that offense. Meanwhile, Curtis Samuel has been catching touchdowns, but a little bit hard to trust. Sam Howell is a bit up and down. I would go Josh Palmer. It's very close, though. If you preferred Curtis Samuel, I wouldn't look at you odd at all. It's a real toss-up here between the two. So I would go Josh Palmer. I am a Chargers fan. Keep that bias in mind, but I think he's been really good. I feel like I know that team very well, and I think Palmer's target volume is very safe, very consistent. I would go Josh Palmer over Curtis Samuel, but it is a coin flip. Good luck to you, Marcus. Light Bros is asking Curtis Samuel versus the Giants or Pittman versus Cleveland. I think I'm still going to trust Michael Pittman. I do worry about the matchup a little bit, but the volume with Minshew is elite for Pittman right now. He's getting 10-plus targets a game, and I think Pittman is very safe in terms of floor. He's the clear number 1 and going to get plenty of volume. I would go Michael Pittman. I have him top 20. I have Curtis Samuel at like number 33. But if you're watching, if you haven't hit that like button for me yet, please do so. We're at 13 likes. We have 25 viewers. And if I haven't answered your question, I'll get to it in just a second. But if I have, please hit that like button. Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Really helps me grow and is a free way of saying thank you and that you appreciate all the work I do on this channel. So please hit that like button. Thank you very much. Kicks for Mike is asking quarterback, Love, Goff, Stafford. I have Laporta and Cup. If that changes anything, PPR flex, Mike Evans or Najee. Okay, at quarterback, I'm going Jared Goff. I think Goff has been extremely consistent, very safe, very solid this season, and I do have Goff inside my top 10. Goff is my number 8 quarterback. Receivers in the red zone with their running backs banged up, I still prefer Goff. I still trust him a little bit more. I know the Baltimore Ravens matchup is dicey, but it should be fine. The Lions are one of the best teams in the NFL right now, and Goff is really consistent, really safe. I would go Jared Goff over Stafford. But then the fact that you have Laporta also gives you that stack option. And while I do think Kupp might be a little more likely to go in the end zone, I still think Goff is safer from a floor standpoint. And I think the ceiling is also higher. Stafford has yet to go over like 20 points this season, whereas Goff has thrown for like 350 and like 3 touchdowns before. So I would go Jared Goff over Matthew Stafford, despite the fact that you have both stacks available. But and then at flex, you're asking full PPR Mike Evans or Najee. It looks like Baker Mayfield is fully cleared to go, so I would 100% trust Mike Evans. I have him number 11 at receiver, and you always prefer receiver in PPR over running back anyways, and I don't think it's close. I have Najee ranked 26. I have Najee really low this week. I don't trust Najee like at all. So give me Mike Evans 100% over Najee Harris. But thanks as always. You are welcome. Bill Frolic is asking Mayer or Komet. This week with Tyson Bagent under center, I don't trust Komet at all. I'm going Michael Mayer for sure. I have Mayer ranked 15. Yeah, I have Mayer at 15, and then I don't even have Komet top 20. I have Komet at 21. I think he's better with Fields, and there's some touchdown upside with him, but Mayer, I think, is a little more trustworthy. I would go Michael Mayer in the same matchup over Cole Komet. But Jenna Antsy is asking, pick one, Jahan Dotson, Wan'Dale Robinson, or Javonte Williams. I will go Javonte Williams. I have Javonte as my RB20 this week, and I think he's a very solid, safe option. I think he's getting a lot of volume, and he's definitely healthy at the moment. I think he's a good option right now. So I would be going Javonte. It's tempting to go with Wan'Dale because the matchup is great, but he's very hard to trust. I think Wan'Dale is just not there yet. And Jahan has really lost his role to Curtis Samuel. I don't trust Jahan at all. Not like a single game with over like 35 yards. Jahan is very, very brutal. But looks like we have a super chat. Terrell T does jump the queue with the donation. Thank you, my friend. I really appreciate it. But Madison or Javonte standard, thanks for all you do. That is a very close call. I actually have Javonte ranked above Alexander Madison this week. The matchup against the Niners is terrible, and the matchup against Green Bay is decent. It's not bad. It's not awful. It's just fine. But the Niners really can shut down the run. The game script is not going to benefit Madison on the ground. And while he may get some targets in catch-up mode, I think Javonte has a higher chance to score a touchdown. I would be going with Javonte Williams versus Green Bay. It's close, but I think I'd be going Javonte. It's a real toss-up, though. I get it if you disagree with me, but my preference would be Javonte this week. I don't trust Madison against the Niners. But thank you for the donation. Thank you very much. Jonathan Medrano is asking, would you play Pittman and DK or take a shot and run DK and Lockett together? Good question. I mean, the Lockett start would be to mitigate the risk of DK, I assume. I would still roll with Pittman. I think I'd be tempted to go Pittman and Lockett. Okay, so here's the beauty of that situation. Pittman plays in the morning. Start Pittman. DK plays in the afternoon, and he's a game time decision. If DK's unavailable, then you pivot to Lockett, and you're going to get a very good game. Lockett would then move up inside the top 20, and I would be starting Lockett. But as long as DK's available, I would still trust DK. I understand that it's a little bit risky, but the matchup is really good, and I think he will be the better play option this week. I know I could be wrong. There is some risk there, but if you're really worried about it, then I'd lock in Pittman. It's maybe you're worried about Pittman. Maybe that's why you're asking the question. I am not. I think Minshew's going to get him the ball at a high volume, and I think he's going to be okay. So I would still be rolling Pittman out there, and then based on DK's health, I'd start him if he plays, and I'd bench Lockett if he does, and then I'd pivot to Lockett over DK. The problem is, like, if DK is out and you have Pittman on your bench, then you get a bagel, in that spot. So I would be rolling with Pittman and then DK over Lockett, but flip the two if DK doesn't play. Let me refresh the inactives page. Let me make sure I got all the news coming in. Yeah, here it is. Okay, so Damian Harris is out. We knew that. Quentin Morris is out. We knew that. Roshan is out. Justin Fields is out. Deshaun Watson is active. Kareem Hunt is active. Marvin Jones is out. Dave Montgomery's out. Alec Pierce is going to play. Kylan Granson is out. Jimmy G is out. Keyshawn Boutte is inactive. Um, Juju Smith-Schuster is also out. Hunter Henry is active, and Daniel Jones is inactive. We got Tyrod Taylor as the starter in the New York Giants offense. But that's pretty much what I expected. Nothing too crazy at the moment. But Adit Gupta is asking DJ Moore or Zay Flowers on flex this week. Full PPR 12-man league. In full PPR, I think I'd just go Zay Flowers. I think I would just avoid DJ Moore. I do have DJ Moore ranked a little bit higher. I have DJ at 22 and Flowers at 25. But I think in full PPR, there's going to be more volume for Flowers, and there's just a little bit more upside in terms of the touchdown for DJ Moore, but it gets canceled out in PPR. I think the floor is much lower for DJ, and the floor for Flowers is safer. If he scores a touchdown, they're both going to have the same ceiling. So I would go Zay Flowers in full PPR over DJ Moore. Good luck to you, Adit. But Mauricio says, thank you. You're welcome. Jacob says, what's up? Who should I start? Brian, Bijan, Robinson, Gibbs, James Cook, DJ Moore, Zay Flowers, Addison, JSN. 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 flex PPR. Okay, in terms of running backs, we're definitely starting Bijan. Bijan is top 10. But I think I'm going to go with Brian Robinson. I assume you mean Brian Robinson. You did not mention Robinson, but I can't think of any other Brian. And this is definitely the running back section. I have Brian Robinson at 11. The matchup against the Giants is top 5. So I think he's going to have a good game. Jahmyr Gibbs. So if you do not trust Brian Robinson, then I would be going James Cook. But I think he's a safe play this week. I think Brian Robinson is very reliable. And I think he has a safer bet to find the end zone than James Cook. James Cook is in a legit committee, and sometimes Josh Allen vultures it, sometimes Latavius vultures it. I'm a little bit hesitant with James Cook this week, and the matchup against the Patriots is not as good as the matchup against the Giants. So your 2 running backs would be Bijan and Brian, and then we'll see if we start James Cook at flex based on DJ Moore, Zay Flowers, and Addison in full PPR. So we just had this question with Adit in terms of DJ Moore or Zay Flowers straight up in PPR. I'd be going Zay Flowers, but I have Addison ranked above both of them. I would be going Addison and Flowers as your 2 wide receivers. But then DJ Moore scares me this week a little bit, and I think James Cook will be catching some passes this week. So I will go as the 2 running backs. Give me Brian and Bijan Robinson. As the 2 wide receivers, I'm going to go Zay Flowers and Jordan Addison. And then at flex, I'm going James Cook over Jahmyr Gibbs. Gibbs is very interesting, but I just don't trust him. I still think that hammy could be lingering. Craig Reynolds is probably going to play. He was not listed as inactive. So, Craig Reynolds is active. But Jahmyr Gibbs just doesn't... I don't have faith. I don't. Sadly, I do not have faith in Jahmyr Gibbs. So he's who I'm benching, and then I'm also benching DJ Moore. The rest are in your lineup. But Marcus Johnson, do I play Jonathan Taylor or Eckler? You're playing Eckler. Eckler for sure. I know Eckler was kind of bad last week, but I don't worry about it. I think it's just the Cowboys matchup, and the Chiefs should probably let him be fine. I think Eckler's going to be top 5 this week. I'm not benching Eckler for Jonathan Taylor. Not yet, at least. Until Taylor is like the clear workhorse. I'm not going to do that, but I don't think that's going to happen. Rest of the season, I think Moss is going to be a big thorn in his side every single week. But Adit is also asking, hurting real bad at running back on RB2 this week. Yeah, there's a ton of buys, so it's pretty brutal. But currently have Latavius Murray on RB2. ETN is RB1. Do I start Craig Reynolds, Royce Freeman, or Darrell Henderson over him this week? I think I might go Craig Reynolds. Where do I have Reynolds? Yeah, I have Craig Reynolds Number 28. I know he has that rib injury, but I think he's a pretty solid option. I think he will possibly vulture a touchdown. I can't guarantee that, but I do see his role being definitely involved. He's been pretty solid for them. And I do have Craig Reynolds ranked above Latavius Murray, who I have at 36. Royce Freeman, I wouldn't trust. I have Henderson actually above Latavius Murray as well at 35. Henderson is really interesting because he has more of a track record in this offense. However, I can't tell you exactly what's going to happen with the Rams backfield. So I would be benching Henderson. I would be benching Royce Freeman. I'd be benching Latavius Murray as well, and I would be starting Craig Reynolds. It's a little risky with his injury, but I would go Craig Reynolds. Damn, got an itchy nose. But yeah, give me Craig Reynolds over the other three. Good luck to you, Adit. But Marcus Johnson is asking, thanks again. You're welcome, Marcus. But Chris Corona is saying, who should I pick up off my bench? Mayer, Wandale, or Algier? Um, Wandale is very interesting, but I think the depth at tight end is not bad to have. I think Mayer might be the more interesting value, but usually you prefer a wide receiver as a flex play over a tight end. So it would be between Wandale and Mayer, in my opinion. And depending on what you need more, if you prefer having a backup tight end, if that's a little more important to you right now, then go with Mayer. If you prefer having a backup receiver, I do think Wandale is the most valuable receiver in the Giants offense. So I would go Wandale over Mayer if it was me. But I do think there's going to be some solid value for Mayer rest of season. It's not a bad pickup, that's for sure. But Leo Nunez is asking Michael Wilson or Josh Reynolds in the flex. Thank you. I would go Josh Reynolds. I know Jameson Williams kind of eating into his volume a little bit, but I worry about Jahmyr Gibbs. I think they're going to pass it a decent amount, and I still think Reynolds has a solid connection with solid connection with Jared Goff. So I think Josh Reynolds would be my preference. I do have Reynolds ranked way higher than Michael Wilson. I have maybe not way higher. I have Reynolds at 39, and then I have Michael Wilson at 45. So it's actually kind of close. But I think from a safety floor standpoint, I still prefer Josh Reynolds. And if you're just chasing upside, maybe Wilson scores a touchdown, but I doubt it. I have a bad feeling about it. I think in division, the Cardinals look like shit against the Seattle Seahawks. So I would go Josh Reynolds straight up over Michael Wilson. Good luck to you, Leo. But we are officially less than an hour away from kickoff, and I'm going to go a little bit more rapid fire in terms of these questions. But start Christian Kirk or Jordan Love. I'm going Jordan Love. I have Jordan Love at number 11, and I have no confidence in Christian Kirk this week. Yeah, Love is at 11, and Kirk Cousins is at 17. I do not want to start Kirk Cousins at all this week. Give me Jordan Love over Kirk Cousins. But Big Money Joe is asking 12-man PPR, Rashee Rice versus the Chargers, Deontay versus the Rams, Addison versus Niners, or Sutton versus Green Bay. If you only need one, give me Jordan Addison. I think Jordan Addison is still going to get plenty of volume, and I'm worried about Cousins throwing interceptions, but that does not penalize Jordan Addison. I think Addison will be very solid. I have Addison top 20. He's my highest ranked of the four of these. And then I have Sutton ranked the lowest. I have Sutton at 38. I have DJ at 33. I have Rashee Rice at 28. And then I have Addison at 19. So I would go Addison, then Rashee Rice, then Deontay over Sutton. So that's my preference. Addison, and then if you need a second one, I'd go Rashee Rice. But if you just need one, give me Addison. Douglas Sears is asking London, Deontay, or Ford flex PPR. In full PPR, I'm going to go Drake London. I know Ford is tempting. Ford has played well this season, but I have London at number 20, and I think they're going to be in a very good game script. I think the Falcons win, and I think his connection with Ritter has been popping off lately. I think London is very safe and could maybe go over 100 yards again this week. So I think he finds the end zone, but I think he's very safe, very solid, especially in full PPR. I favor the wide receiver, and I have London ranked way over Deontay Johnson. He's kind of close to Ford, but I would go Drake London over Jerome Ford in full PPR especially. But Frenzy MS is asking, need one running back and a flex, Javonte Williams, Jaleel McLaughlin, Zach Evans, KJ Osborne, Deontay Foreman. Any word on DK? At the moment, we do not have a word on DK. He's a true game time decision. I do expect him to play. He usually doesn't need to practice very much in order to start. So I think DK starts, but you need one running back and a flex. I have Javonte Williams and Zach Evans ranked right next to each other. So I would be going with the two of them. I would go Zach Evans and Javonte Williams. And I have Zach Evans over Javonte, and I think they're both in the afternoon, so is DK. So if DK is unavailable, then you could pivot to KJ Osborne, who's playing on Monday night. And I think that would be my preference over Jaleel McLaughlin and Deontay Foreman. So if you need one running back and one flex, I would go with the combo of Zach Evans and Javonte Williams over the rest of them. I don't trust KJ Osborne too much, but he should see a decent target share, but not going to be targeted down the field too much. He's been more of a check down option lately. So KJ would be your backup plan for DK, but I think you're starting Zach Evans and Javonte Williams. But Rexton, too freshish, is asking McLaughlin, Henderson, Mitchell, or Foreman as my RB2 behind Bijan this week in full PPR. Okay, it's full PPR, and you just need one of these guys as your RB2. It kind of sucks, but I think I'm going to go Foreman. I have Foreman ranked the highest. I have Foreman at 30. I don't trust him, but I can't tell you I trust Elijah Mitchell. I think Christian McCaffrey is going to play, and I think Jordan Mason is actually better than him. I don't trust Jaleel McLaughlin very much. I have McLaughlin like at number 40-ish or something. Yeah, I have him right at 41. I have him behind Zeke. And then Henderson I have at 35. He's very interesting, especially in full PPR. I'm very tempted to go with Henderson, but I think Foreman is just going to be a safer play for more volume. So I think I would go with Henderson. I just can't tell you with confidence that Henderson has a consistent role. He's very tempting, but it's just not a guarantee. We just haven't seen this committee behind Kyren Williams at all this season. So good luck if you want to go with Henderson, but I think I'd just go Foreman and lock in the volume. They're going to have to run it a decent amount, but odds are none of these options are good. I would go Foreman just to lock up the touches. But if I was just chasing upside, especially in full PPR, I do think Henderson might catch like maybe 3 or 4 passes, and Foreman might only catch like 1 or 2. So you might get an extra 2 points, but yeah, it's not like that's great. It's not like it's ideal. So I'd go Deontay Foreman, but good luck for sure. But Ryan is asking, with Kareem Hunt active, should I go with him over Zach Moss? Full PPR, thanks, man. No, I would still trust Zach Moss. I have Kareem Hunt 29, and I have Zach Moss 18. I still think Zach Moss is the better play. He's been pretty solid this season. I would go Zach Moss. But you could also pick up Foreman. I have Kareem Hunt ranked over Deontay Foreman, so I don't want Deontay Foreman. I think they're just hoping for Roschon Johnson to get back. And he should get cleared from concussion protocol next week. So I think Foreman's going to lose all of his value starting next week. I would not pick up Deontay Foreman. Have no confidence in him. But yeah, give me Zach Moss over Kareem Hunt this week. But Jacob says, thank you. You're welcome, Jacob. But we're getting a little bit closer to catching up. We have 45 minutes, so let's try and go a little bit faster. Colby says, Osborne, Rice, or Wandale? Give me Rashee Rice. I got Rashee Rice top 30, Osborne at like 36, 37, and Wandale right behind Osborne. So Rashee Rice in an excellent matchup. This is the best matchup you could ask for on the week. The Chargers allow a ton of points to the receiver position. Give me Rashee Rice in Kansas City. But Santo DiCarlo is asking Elijah Moore, JSN, or Wandale in the flex. PPR. Whew, rough. Elijah Moore's a little bit more interesting with Deshaun under center, but I don't trust him. I think I'd go Wandale because the matchup against the Commanders is just so effing good. We've seen great games out of the receiver position this season. Wandale has been playing a little bit better lately, and Tyrod is not the worst backup in the NFL. I would be going Wandale. I have him ranked the highest. I have Wandale top 40 actually. I have him 37, whereas JSN I have 44, and Elijah Moore should crack the top 50 actually now that Deshaun is available, but I think I'd have him around Jerry Jeudy. I would go Wandale Robinson. It feels weird to say, but yeah, I'd go Wandale over the other ones in full PPR. I think there's the most targets available for Wandale this week. But Miguel Rutledge is asking, who would you put in the flex spot, James Cook or JSN? Thank you. James Cook, 100%. We haven't seen anything from JSN yet. JSN is not a trustworthy play at the moment. Meanwhile, James Cook has a very solid floor. I know he hasn't been like always elite, but I think he's still the RB1, and you trust him more. Give me James Cook over JSN Miguel. But Marcus Johnson is asking, do you trust starting Deshaun Watson? My backup is Stafford. No, I would be going Stafford. I do not trust Deshaun right now. That shoulder injury scares me, and he hasn't looked good this season. He's looked very mediocre, very underwhelming. I would go Stafford. I rank him higher than Deshaun Watson. But Frenzy says, thank you. You're welcome, Frenzy. And then Ryan from LA, or at least he's a Dodger fan, is asking, is Jaylen Warren still going to be consistent today versus the Rams defense in LA? I mean, define consistent. I think he's going to be fine. I have to start him because I have Breece Hall and Derrick Henry on bye this week. He's my RB 22, 21, something like that. Yeah, he's my RB 21. So I think he's fine. I think he's a low-end flex play. The PPR value should be there. He usually catches passes, and he usually gets you somewhere between like 8-9 points. Maybe he finds the end zone. That's hard to predict. Very up and down. It hasn't happened yet, but if it is going to happen for one of those Steelers running backs, I think it would be Warren. So I think he's gonna be fine, consistent with what we've seen so far. Yeah, close to 10 points. Not more than 12, most likely, though. Colby says Zach Evans is RB3 for Rams. Is he? I mean, we don't know. It's a toss up. It's dicey, man. Like he could be. He could be. It is risky as fuck with Evans. I might be too high on him. But I think they want to see what he has. I think he's talented. I think he's okay. But I hope you're not. I hope you're wrong. Because I've been telling people to start Zach Evans, at least as a low end RB2. Damn, you're making me a little worried, honestly. But you might be right. We'll see. Mike Liu is asking, full PPR, rocked by injuries, got to start 2 of 3. Pickens, Deontay, Wandale, Pitt guys better in a vacuum, but starting both feels a no-no. The matchup for them is also brutal, but I do have both of them ranked over Wandale. I understand that like you kind of cap your upside, but I think Pickens is more of like a touchdown deep threat, and then Deontay is a bit more valuable in full PPR. So I think they'd be close to like both closer to RB wide receiver 30. I still think Pickens is safer, but I don't think Wandale is a guy you trust over either of them. So the fact that Freiermuth is out, I think helps the logic to start both of the Steelers receivers. I think I would be going with Pickens and Deontay. I don't think I trust Wandale enough. I know the matchup is great for Wandale, but it's still very hard to fully endorse. And I don't think Wandale scores a touchdown. I think he's going to get like 6-7 targets, and that's what Pickens and Deontay are going to offer you as well. So I would be going Pickens and Deontay, and that way if one of them scores a touchdown, you don't miss out on it. You definitely limit your risk with both of them. So I would be going Pickens and Deontay. I don't think it is a no-no, Mike. I think I would do it. But I understand what you're saying. A little bit dicey. Big Daddy is asking, is Jonnu Smith a safe start in full PPR? I think he is. He's seen 32 targets since week 2, like averaging 6 a game. He is absolutely a safe start in full PPR. Very, very consistent, very solid. Um, I think he's going to be good. I think where do I have him? I have him at like tight end 12. I want to say I have him like right behind Michael Mayer. I mean, right behind Luke Musgrave and Gerald Everett. I have him at number 12. Johnny Smith is very safe, very legit. Yeah, I do trust him. But Bryce Ridley is asking Brian Robinson or take risk with Aaron Jones being questionable. Um, I have Brian Robinson ranked above Aaron Jones straight up, actually. I would be going Brian Robinson. The matchup for B Rob is elite. The Giants are a top 5 matchup against the position. I would trust Brian Robinson over Aaron Jones. And yes, the questionable designation is a little bit risky. If he was full go, I might rank him higher, but AJ Dillon could vulture his touchdown, and it's possible that he is a game time decision and ruled inactive. So yeah, I would just go Brian Robinson. I think I rank him higher. I think he's a better option than Aaron Jones because the matchup for both of them are top 5. I trust B Rob to get more volume than Aaron Jones. So give me Brian Robinson in that spot straight up. But Bryce Ridley is asking, and then Amari Cooper or Deontay Johnson. With Deshaun Watson, I'm going to go Amari Cooper. I have Amari Cooper inside my top 20. Deontay Johnson, I have at 33. Meanwhile, I've upgraded Amari Cooper all the way up to 14 with Deshaun active. I think Amari Cooper is going to be very, very safe. Definitely a decent option. I don't think you worry about the matchup against the Colts too much. Give me Amari Cooper over Deontay. But Tony Brentnall is asking JSN or Tank Dell rest of season, stash rest of season PPR. Good question. Damn. I think it's JSN. I think JSN is the better talent. I mean, he was drafted round 1. And I think the reason why he had such a slow start was because of that wrist injury. He was coming off of surgery when the season started. And now that it's post-bye, I think he will get more volume. With DK banged up, I wouldn't be like completely shocked if this is a kind of a breakout game for JSN. I know we haven't seen it yet, but Tank Dell has been extremely inconsistent and only has like one good game. I actually rank oh yeah, Dell is out with a concussion this week. That's why I don't have Dell inside my top 50. But I have JSN top 45. At some point, I think he's gonna have a good game. It's kind of inevitable. So yeah, I'd rather have JSN than Tank Dell. I think the talent will pay off inevitably in Seattle. Give me JSN over Tank Dell rest of season. But Sheila Hendricks with a very colorful, very heartfelt message. Peace and blessings to my brother. May God bless you always. May God bless you richly with everything you need always. Much love, blessings. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Very kind of you to say. Um, may God bless you too. DeMarcus at Flex, Godwin, Moss, or Wilson. I'm going to go Zach Moss. I still worry about Godwin a decent amount. Godwin scares me because Evans is just so much involved. I would go Zach Moss because I have Godwin. I have Godwin 34, and then I have Zach Moss number 18. I think I prefer Zach Moss. From a floor standpoint, I prefer Zach Moss. I got a feeling I think the Colts win this week, and I think the running backs get going. I think the Browns might overlook them a little bit. Give me Zach Moss over Chris Godwin. But Sheila, another may God bless you. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Sheila. Very, very kind of you. Really, really appreciate it. Laura and Jim Cooperman asking, in a PPR, need 2 wide receivers and a flex. Devontae Smith, Rondale Moore, KJ Osborne, Jalen Warren, and Jaleel McLaughlin. Okay, you need 2 of these. You need 2 wide receivers and a flex. Okay. We're 100% going Devontae Smith. I got Devontae Smith top 20. I have Devontae at like 16 this week. I trust Devontae. I think he's going to be fine. I know he's been a bit bad lately, but I think he will bounce back. I think Devontae is a lock in this lineup. And then it's full PPR. I don't trust Rondale Moore at all. I'm not starting Rondale Moore. But you need 2 receivers. Give me KJ Osborne as the second receiver. I don't trust Rondale at all. I got KJ at least top 40. I have him around 35. The exact rank would be 36. So, yes, I do prefer KJ over Rondale Moore. So, give me Devontae Smith and KJ Osborne as your 2 receivers. I think in full PPR, there's a solid volume for KJ, so the target share should save you a little bit. And then at running back, your flex, I'm going Jaylen Warren at the flex. Give me Jaylen Warren. Yeah, Warren for sure. I don't trust McLaughlin at all. He's my running back 41, and Warren should be a very solid flex play this week, somewhere around 8, 9, 10 points. So, yeah. Devontae Smith, KJ Osborne, Jaylen Warren. But Ryan is also asking for my wide receiver 2 and flex. I'm not sure who to go with, but I've got London, McLaurin, and Devontae Smith. I would go Devontae Smith at wide receiver 2, and then your flex is Drake London. I don't trust Terry too much at the moment. I think Terry's a little bit unsafe. I feel very confident in Devontae this week, and then Drake London I'm starting to trust as well. I would be benching McLaurin and starting Devontae Smith, Drake London. But Akshay Shah, good to see you back in the chat, my friend. Start Kareem Hunt or Deontay Foreman. I'm going to start Kareem Hunt. I have Kareem Hunt just a couple spots over Deontay Foreman. I do not trust Foreman at all. I don't want a piece of that offense. Like, if I can avoid it, I would do it. I have them back to back. So if you want to go with your gut, if you prefer Foreman, then go ahead. But I have Kareem Hunt 1 spot higher. I'm going to stick with my gut and go with Kareem Hunt in that spot. But you're also asking start 2 Flowers, Christian Watson, Puka Nacua, and Devontae Smith. You're 100% starting Puka Nacua. Absolutely. With no Kyron Williams, they're going to lean more on the pass in LA. So Puka, I have top 10. You're starting Puka Nacua. And then I'm starting Devontae Smith. I have Devontae Smith top 20 this week, whereas I have Flowers and Watson as just flex plays. I have Flowers and Watson back-to-back 24-25, but I have Devontae Smith at 16. The point total is something you want to chase on Sunday night. I think you want Devontae Smith in your lineup. Going to be plenty of targets for Devontae. And Puka should be absolutely fine. Give me Puka Nacua and Devontae Smith. But good problem to have. You have good receivers on your team. But Akshay is also asking, start 1, Gibbs, DJ Moore, and Pittman. It depends on the scoring format. If it's standard, give me Gibbs. If it's full PPR, give me Pittman. I'm benching DJ Moore regardless. But if it's half PPR, I think I'm going to go Pittman. I think there's more volume for Pittman. But I think the ceiling is highest with Gibbs. We just don't know what to expect. Gibbs scares me. And, well, it's very tempting to go with him. I think if it's half PPR, it's a real toss-up between Gibbs and Pittman. But I think I'd be going Pittman if it's any type of PPR format. Yeah. You know what? Fuck it. Give me Jahmyr Gibbs over Pittman in half PPR. In full PPR, give me Pittman, and in standard, give me Gibbs. But in half PPR, give me Gibbs over Pittman. I'm benching DJ Moore. That's for sure. Daggers, one of the two. Start 2, Ertz, Michael Mayer, Michael Wilson, or Elijah Moore, or drop 1/2 for Josh Downs or Jonnu Smith to start. Okay, I gotta swap my battery real quick. Give me 1 sec. We're back. Okay. Yes, you are dropping. You are picking up Jonnu Smith, 100%. I think you're starting Jonnu Smith. in this spot. Definitely. I mean, it looks like they're all flex options. Um, unless you need one tight end, one flex. I'm not 100% sure, but it's half PPR. I have Johnny Smith ranked over both of the tight ends. So I think you'd be dropping Zach Ertz for Johnny Smith. That's what I would do. And then I have Josh Downs ranked above Wilson and Elijah Moore. Yeah, that's what I would be doing, bro. I would be dropping Michael Wilson, keeping Michael Mayer, dropping Ertz, and keeping Elijah Moore. And I would be starting and picking up both Josh Downs and Jonnu Smith this week. I would. I really would. Yeah. I have both of them ranked above the other ones at their respective positions by a decent amount. So yeah, I'd like to start Josh Downs and Jonnu Smith in that spot, and I would be dropping Michael Wilson and Zach Ertz. I want to keep Michael Mayer rest of season, but 3.4, my man Taylor gonna start taking the job back, struggling with the Taylor or Ridley at the flex, work in and week out going forward. At some point, Taylor should overtake Moss by a considerable margin, but it just hasn't happened yet. It's still a 50-50 split. So yeah, I'm hoping it occurs. I'd like a little more clarity to know who to trust in the rankings, but I do believe Taylor will be more solid, and Ridley's health is a little bit scary. I think that's kind of a concern, but the matchup against Lattimore was brutal. Trevor Lawrence wasn't super healthy either, and Christian Kirk appears to have overtaken Calvin Ridley. But you know what's kind of interesting to note? Ridley has played his best games when Zay Jones is fully healthy, and I think Zay Jones is kind of the key to unlocking this offense. I think it just takes a lot of pressure off of Ridley. He doesn't get double teamed, and he can kind of exploit the matchups a little bit better. So I think Zay Jones' health will help Ridley, but I am worried about it a decent amount. I would much rather have Christian Kirk at the moment. I think Taylor will improve, though. He should get the majority of touches pretty soon. It was like 10 snaps 2 weeks ago. It was like 50-50 last week. It should be like 60-40 this week. Let's hope so. But Tony Brentnall is asking, how about JSN or D-Hop rest of season stash? Just saw him on waivers. I mean, I think I'd rather have DeAndre Hopkins. But Hopkins is just a floor play. Hopkins hasn't played very well. And then the quarterback situation in Tennessee is completely up in the air. It might be Malik Willis rest of season. I don't feel too good about Hopkins at the moment. So I'd be worried about Hopkins a decent amount, but I think I'd rather have him as the stash. He's going to see the most volume. But JSN is really interesting. We haven't seen him do anything yet, but I think JSN is okay. Straight up, though, I think I'd rather have Hopkins today. If you ask me in 3 weeks, I wouldn't be shocked at all to much rather have JSN. So either way, you're kind of fucked. Picking up JSN soon. I doubt it. I think in terms of waiver wire value, Hopkins has a little bit more at this exact moment in time. But Jacob Ander is asking Jacoby or Deontay Johnson full PPR. They're not bad options. I think I do rank Jacoby Myers higher, though. I have Jacoby 26, and I don't think his volume is going to completely evaporate with Brian Hoyer under center. So I would be going Jacoby over Deontay. But it's tempting. I have Deontay at 33, and he would move up a little bit with the PPR setting. I'd have him around like Lockett. I'd have him at like a 30. I'd still go Jacoby Myers, though. I think Jacoby has been a bit more trustworthy this season. And if one of them's going to score a touchdown, I think it would be Myers over DJ. But Lucas is saying, yo, keep putting out these streams. My question, Wandale or Pittman at flex? I'll try and keep doing the streams, my friend. But I'm going to go Waddle, 100%. I want to chase the matchup. It's great against Philly. He has been getting more targets lately. And I definitely want to chase the point total of this game. I have Pittman at number 18. Meanwhile, I have Waddle at 12. Give me Jalen Waddle at flex, even in full PPR. I know full PPR might skew you towards Pittman because there's usually a bit more volume, but the volume has been very consistent the last 2 weeks for Waddle, and I think it'll be very important in this game. I think they'll be in catch-up mode. I would go Jalen Waddle over Michael Pittman. But Kyle B is asking Warren or Harris. I would go Jalen Warren, especially in full PPR. He's the pass catcher, and I think he's the more talented player. I think he'll start to see more touches over Najee rest of season, starting this week after the bye. Give me Jalen Warren. I have him as RB21, and I have Najee at RB26. Yeah, Najee at 26, Warren at 21. Give me Jalen Warren. This week and rest of season. But Brendan Dupree, Jahmyr Gibbs, Flowers, or Waddle at the flex. I'm going to go Jalen Waddle. As I was mentioning just a few seconds ago, I really trust the matchup here against Philly. There should be a lot of points scored, and Waddle should find the end zone. I think Waddle's going to have a great game. Maybe it's the first time this season where he goes over like 80-plus yards. I think he'll at least get you like 13 points. I think he finds the end zone and at least catches like 4 for 60 in this matchup. So give me Jalen Waddle at the flex. I'm a little bit hesitant with Jahmyr Gibbs to fully endorse him. He's been a little brutal this season. And then Flowers, more of a floor play. Waddle has the elite ceiling. Could go over 20 points in this matchup against the Eagles. But Lucas is asking trade or hold Kyren and James Conner. I mean, it depends on who you're getting, you know? Like, you got to wait a month with Kyren Williams, at least 4 weeks. And then James Conner is in week 3 of his IR designation, or maybe it's just week 2. So, yeah, it's going to be a bit of a time waster on your bench there. But I think I'd rather hold on to Kyren Williams. I'd be tempted to trade James Conner if you're getting another top 20 running back. Like if you're getting like Pacheco, then hell yeah, give me Pacheco over James Conner. But if all you're getting is like Najee Harris for James Conner, then nah, I'm not going to do it. Ramondre Stevenson, I'd still probably not do it. I don't trust Ramondre, although at some point he might turn around. He looked better last week, but yikes, don't want to do it. It was really just the matchup. But, you know, if you're trading away Kyren, who would you try and acquire? I don't know, man. I think I'd probably just hold because Kyren is like top 10 when he comes back. I think I just try and hold. It really depends on who you're getting. If you do ever get some trade questions, ask me in the comments of any video, and I'll answer them within a day or two, if not as soon as I see it. But yeah, I'd probably hold on both of them. But Whit McLaughlin is asking Tutu Atwell or Curtis Samuel, not in PPR. Give me Curtis Samuel, 100%. With Cooper Kupp in the mix, Tutu has lost like all of his value, and Curtis Samuel has legit value. He also gets some touches in the run game, so from a yard standpoint, I think he's pretty solid. I have Curtis Samuel ranked 32. I think he's just as valuable as Terry McLaurin these days. Give me Curtis Samuel, 100%. Much safer option to score a touchdown than Tutu Atwell is. But should I trade Jalen Waddle for Zay Flowers? No, you're holding on to Jalen Waddle. Waddle still has the top 10 upside any week. I know it's been a rough go, but he was injured to start the season. And I think starting this week, you're going to see that elite upside against the Eagles. I'm going to stick with Jalen Waddle. Flowers is interesting, but just a flex option still. Never really going to crack my top 20 rankings. Waddle, it's very hard not to rank him top 20. So I want Waddle. I'm not giving him up for Zay Flowers. But do I rank kickers or no? I do not rank kickers. Sorry, I do not rank kickers. But Avery Chapman is asking Russell Wilson or Deshaun Watson PPR. I'm going to go... I mean, PPR is kind of irrelevant, but I think I have Russell Wilson ranked one spot higher. Yep, I do. It's very close. Not good at all, but I prefer the matchup a little bit for Russell Wilson, and he's actually been decent from a stats standpoint. I would go Russell Wilson over Deshaun Watson. But Brendan Dupree is asking, also, I have Raiders defense for this week. Any other defenses I should swap out, or should Raiders be good? I think you're sticking with the Raiders. I have the Raiders number 3 this week. Very, very good play. I'm starting them myself in the subscriber league, and I think the only ones you'd rather have would be the Niners and the Bills at New England and Minnesota. Give me the Raiders at Chicago over anybody else other than those two. But you have Tyler Bass. Do I start him today, or do I play someone else? I think you're starting him. I mean, he's usually a top 10 kicker. Kickers are always super fluky. I think the only one that like you really trust right now is like truly elite. I think like my top 5 kickers would be Jake Elliott, Harrison Butker. I still trust Justin Tucker. I know he hasn't been like amazing this season from a fantasy standpoint. I still think Tucker's really good. And then after that, it's kind of like, yeah, Tyler Bass is in like the next tier. The Dallas kicker's not bad, but he's on bye. I think you're sticking with Tyler Bass. He's usually good for at least like 3 touchdowns, and then 2 field goals most of the time. I would stick with Tyler Bass. He's a good kicker. But David Ratz is asking, start 2 in PPR: Christian Watson, Zay Flowers, Amari Cooper, Marquise Brown. What do you think? Thanks. 100% I'm starting Marquise Brown. Marquise Brown is my favorite of this list. I have Marquise Brown at number 13. The matchup is elite against Seattle. They're like top 2 against the position. You want to start Marquise Brown 100% this week. The garbage time really going to favor him. But after that, I would be going Amari Cooper. I think with Deshaun Watson under center, you can kind of trust the volume for Cooper, and the catch percentage should be higher than it was last week with PJ Walker. So I'm going to go Marquise Brown and Amari Cooper. I have Watson and Flowers as just flex plays down at 24-25. I think they're a little bit less safe, and I think the matchups are really good for other positions in Denver that Watson is not going to find the end zone. I don't think he's going to have to put up a great game this week. I don't think they need him to contribute like crazy. I think you're benching Watson and Flowers and starting Cooper and Marquise Brown. But Luke Uriarte is saying, hey man, need 2 Osborne, Wandale, Downs, or Darrell Henderson. At receiver, I have Osborne and Wandale ranked top 40. I have them back to back, actually, 36-37. So I would start them over Josh Downs. However, Darrell Henderson is tempting. I just don't know what to expect. He's a risky play, does have some upside, but I don't think he finds the end zone. I think I would just go Osborne and Wandale. I think that's what I would do. But the fact that you have Henderson on your bench, I think, is a good stash. Definitely not bad. That's for sure. But if you preferred Henderson over Wandale, I wouldn't question you at all. But I think I personally would go Osborne and Wandale. Good luck, though. I could be wrong. Henderson could actually be the number 1 running back in that backfield. If you wanted to take a chance, because you're already taking a chance on Wandale already, then yeah, maybe go for it. But good luck, pal. Hope it works out. I'd go Osborne and Wandale. But Brendan says, okay, appreciate it, Brody. I'm subscribing. Keep the streams up. Thank you for subscribing, my friend. Appreciate it. Helping the channel grow. I think we're approaching 1950 on the subscriber count. Very excited. We're almost on at 2K. But should I pick up Tank Dell ahead of week 8? I don't think you have to. He's okay, but I don't think I would. Like, it depends on who you're dropping. He's fine. He's gonna be like 40-50 rest of season. He's not elite. He's nothing special. He's a solid depth piece, but not like you have to pick him up. But flex 1, Rashee Rice, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jerome Ford, or Christian Watson. I would probably flex Jahmyr Gibbs. No, actually, I have Jerome Ford ranked above him. I would go Jerome Ford. I think you know what you're getting with Ford. You don't 100% know what you're getting with Gibbs. I would have Ford over Gibbs at 15-16. Give me Jerome Ford. But the upside with Rashee Rice is very tempting. I do see some good volume for him. But we have 15 minutes, and I know there's a few questions, but I really need to set my lineup. Just make sure that I'm not going to regret it. So give me 1 second, and I will get back to the questions. I know I can pull them up as I'm doing this, but one minute on the questions. Promise you I'll be back real soon. Okay, everyone is healthy. I got Purdy, I got AJ Dillon, I got Warren, I got Cup, I got Addison, Goddard, London, Raiders defense, Jake Elliott. And I am not putting in Cousins. I am not putting in the Steelers defense. I'm not putting in Quentin Johnston in my lineup. Okay, so my lineup is set in the subscriber league, and internally screaming my opponent had a good game from Christian Kirk, but his tight end spot is empty, and he did not pick up anyone. Oh boy, I have a shot here. I got bailed out a little bit. Let's hope that that stays the case. But my other team has Herbert, Bijan, Etienne had a good game for me. I got Amon-Ra, Marquise Brown. There are locks in my lineup. I got Musgrave at tight end. Then I got Devontae Smith, Raheem Mostert, Seahawks defense. I am not starting Brian Robinson. I am not starting the Eagles. I am not starting Josh Palmer. And I'm obviously not starting Pat Freiermuth on IR. So we are set at in this lineup for this week. But grind, don't stop. Thoughts on Curtis Samuel rest of season? I think he's just as valuable as Terry McLaurin. I'd much rather have him than Jahan Dotson. I think Curtis Samuel's going to rank top 35 a decent amount, at least at worst like top 40. I think he's a very good depth piece. I think he's going to be a solid flex play when you need him. I like Curtis Samuel a decent amount. Good wide receiver 3 or 4 to have, but he's probably like your fifth option if you have him on your team. So very good depth piece. Curtis Samuel is very valuable. Brendan Dupree, my bad. One more question. Jordan Love or Matthew Stafford? Appreciate it. I'm gonna go Jordan Love. I have him just above Stafford. I'd go Jordan Love, but I think if you just wanted the floor, Stafford is not bad. But I do have Jordan Love in a great matchup. This is the one of the best matchups. I think it's like number 2 against the position. I think Love is going to be good this week. I'd go Jordan Love over Stafford. Just barely, though. But Grind Don't Stop picked up Jeff Wilson and Darrell Henderson. Who do I start PPR? I would go Jeff Wilson. I would chase the point total. However, I really don't know what to expect in the Rams offense. It's possible that Henderson is the number 1, but I can't tell you that with confidence. I think it's Zach Evans, but I could be wrong. That's why I'd rather just go with Jeff Wilson. He could have a slightly Devon Achane role. He's not as fast as Achane, but he does profile a little bit as more of a goal line back, and I think if one of them finds the end zone, it would be Jeff Wilson over Darrell Henderson. But in full PPR, Wilson doesn't catch passes. It's a real toss-up. I actually might prefer Henderson just because of your scoring format. But again, if one of them scores a touchdown, it would be Wilson over Henderson. But in full PPR, I'd have them much closer to each other. If you wanted to go Henderson, I wouldn't fault you at all. But yeah, appreciate it. Thinking Wandale and subscribing. Thank you for subscribing, Luke. Appreciate it. Yeah, the matchup is so good against the Washington Commanders for Wandale. They gave up that 50 burger to DJ Moore. They gave up over 100 yards to Drake London last week. I think Wandale's their number 1 receiver. I think Wandale's going to have a good game in a good matchup. But Khalil is asking Puka or Godwin? 100% Puka, bro. 100%. I got Puka top 10. I have Godwin at like 35. Puka is going off this week with no Kyron Williams. They're going to lean on the receivers in the red zone. Give me Puka Nacua over Godwin. But David says, thank you, best of luck. You're welcome, David. And it looks like we got a super chat from Robert Coleman. Thank you for the donation, Robert. Very much appreciated. But full PPR, Chris Godwin or Pittman? I'm trusting Pittman. I think the volume with Minshew is going to stay at 10 plus every week. I think Pittman is the safer bet. I have Pittman top 20. I have Pittman at 18. Meanwhile, I have Chris Godwin down at 34. I do not trust Godwin this season at the moment. He's just nothing special, and I think the Falcons kind of clamp down on defense. I would go Pittman over Chris Godwin. That would be my preference. So good luck, Robert. Thank you for the donation. Very much appreciated. But Hayden Rittenhouse is asking Mark Andrews or Stevenson PPR. I'm going Mark Andrews. I don't trust Stevenson. I know he's a tight end, but he's one of the best tight ends. He's my tight end 2 this week. I think he finds the end zone. It's a great matchup, actually, against the Lions. The Lions have given up a lot of points to the position. It's a matchup you want to chase for tight end. So give me Mark Andrews over Ramondre. But Dr. Clutch, we got less than 10 minutes. In an unfortunate spot with buys and injuries, flex PPR, Javonte Williams, Josh Downs, or Elijah Moore. I'm going Javonte Williams. Javonte Williams is my RB20 this week, and I think you trust him more than the other ones. I know it's full PPR. It's tempting to go Josh Downs or the receiver, but I think Javonte catches a couple passes. I would go Javonte. I think he finds the end zone. The Packers. Sorry, I completely forgot who he was playing. The Packers are a good matchup. They're a decent spot for Javonte. So give me Javonte Williams in that spot. Good luck to you. But Hunter Dahlberg, Njoku, or Komet. Shit, that's bad. That's not fun. I think I'm gonna go Komet. I don't feel good about it, man. Fuck. Where do I rank Njoku? I don't think I ranked Njoku this week. I think I'd go Komet. I think if there's one that scores a touchdown, it'd be Komet. But fuck, man, that's brutal. Good luck, bro. I think I'd go Komet. But also Javonte or James Cook. Definitely James Cook. James Cook should be okay. Should be better. I know he's been a little up and down, but the matchup against New England is pretty average, pretty solid. I think James Cook will get back on track. And from a volume standpoint, I trust him a little bit more than Javonte. He does have the upside, but the touchdowns have been very rare for him. Good luck with James Cook. But 8 minutes in full PPR. Yeah, I'm still going James Cook. A little bit more of a better pass catcher. They're both kind of similar, but I would go James Cook. But Tweaker of Knobs is asking Drake London or Chris Godwin. I'm going Drake London, Tweaker of Knobs. I'm going Drake London. I got London at number 20 this week. I think he's been on a bit of a tear lately. I think his rapport with Ritter is much more consistent, and that bagel in week 1 is far behind us. I no longer fear starting Drake London, whereas Chris Godwin has been a player a lot of people have been asking me about, but I still don't fully trust. I got Godwin at 34. It's a big gap between the two. I definitely prefer London. Much more upside, I think more volume, and definitely higher chance to score a touchdown. I prefer London a lot more. But is Kareem Hunt active today? Yes, he is. Grind, don't stop. Yes, Kareem Hunt is active indeed today. I have him ranked at number 29 at running back. But Sleepy Refresh is asking Keontae Ingram or Deontay Foreman. Ugly spot to be in, but I do prefer Deontay Foreman. I got Foreman a few spots higher. I don't trust any of the Cardinals running backs, and they're in a committee, whereas Deontay has this job to himself. Neither of them is good, but Foreman I have at 30, Keontae I have at 37. I'm going to go Deontay Foreman over Keontae Ingram. Yeah, Foreman at number 30. But even though it's full PPR, I would still go with Deontay Foreman. Keontae is behind Damian Williams in terms of catching passes, so Keontae offers no PPR value at all. Definitely Deontay Foreman, even in full PPR. But Robert Coleman says, thanks, brother. I appreciate you. Have a great day. Thank you, my friend. You have a great day as well. I wish you luck. Hope you win this week. But George is asking, sit 1/2 PPR, Lockett, Godwin, Addison. I am sitting Chris Godwin. I think Lockett is a bit of a safer play this week with the injury to DK Metcalf. I still think Metcalf plays, but I have Addison at 19, so I think the volume for him is very much locked in. And then Lockett, I think, will have a solid game. He looked good last week, and I think the injury to DK was a factor there. So I have both of them inside the top 30, whereas Godwin I have at 34. Godwin is my lowest ranked of the three. I'm sitting Chris Godwin in that spot. But Grind Don't Stop is saying, I'm going with Rashee Rice over Ford with favorable matchup. I don't blame you. It's a great matchup for Rashee Rice, and he looks like the number one receiver in that offense. Good luck. The Chargers give up a ton of points to receivers. I don't like that. I don't hate that call at all. I think that's very tempting in terms of upside. Not bad. A little bit risky. The floor I think would be safer with Ford, but the ceiling is highest with Rashee. because of the matchup. But Love or Howell? Ooh, I have them back to back. Good question. I have Love above Howell. I think that the Giants win. I know that's a bit of a bold call, so if you disagree, then you might prefer Howell. But the matchup for Love is so good. The the Broncos rank top 3 in points allowed to the position. They even gave up a decent game to like to Zach Wilson. So I think Love would be my start there. I would go Jordan Love or over Sam Howell. Off the bye, I think he will be a little more prepared. I think Musgrave gets in the end zone, and hopefully he contributes with his legs a little bit more than Sam Howell. So that's who I'm going with. But we have 4 minutes, and I think I'm just going to shift over to the single shot. Remind y'all to subscribe and move the comments over here. Denzel Barrett is asking Moss or Reynolds. I'm going to go Zach Moss. I think Moss is pretty trustworthy. Reynolds is definitely more limited these days with Jamison Williams in the mix. And I think Moss is still a reliable option in that committee with Taylor. I know Taylor's kind of scary, but I'd go Zach Moss against Cleveland. I think they're going to lean on the run a little bit in this matchup. I think Moss is a better option to find the end zone, straight up. But Tony Pollard or Devontae Smith, rest of season PPR. You know what's crazy? In the subscriber league, Tony Pollard and DeAndre Hopkins were just traded for Isaiah Pacheco. Not Isaiah Pacheco and a piece. Isaiah Pacheco straight up. And I asked the owner of previously Tony Pollard that was trading him away, and he was like, Pollard fucking sucks, man. Pollard sucks balls. He was so disappointed in Pollard at the moment. I think I'd rather have Pollard, though. I like personally, so I could be biased, but I've had Devontae Smith in a PPR setting as well, and he's been very up and down. AJ Brown scares me, so I think I would rather have Pollard because I think it's more valuable to have a top 10 running back than a top 20 wide receiver, especially one that kind of feels a little closer to wide receiver 25, sometimes 30. So I think I'd rather have Pollard, but it doesn't feel great. At least Pollard is past his bye after this week. I know you can't start him at the moment, but I think I'd rather have Pollard. It's very close, though. Very, very close, especially in full PPR. And Danzel, I understand. Josh Reynolds, yes. I'm still taking Zach Moss. Yeah, I'm still going with Zach Moss. I think there's more touches for Zach Moss available. Josh Reynolds is a little bit hard to trust these days. But if it was full PPR, I might be tempted, but nah, I'm still going to stick with Zach Moss. But Jacob, this is a really good question. Tony Pollard, Devontae Smith. It's a bit of a toss-up, but I think I prefer Tony Pollard. 1 more minute, everyone. So a couple questions coming in. Last stop. Would you think of this trade, Kenneth Walker, Diggs for Calvin Ridley, Marquise Brown, Breece Hall? No, I think I'd rather have Kenneth Walker and Diggs. Much better receiver option. And then at running back, it's kind of a lateral move. I'd rather just have it all consolidated in one player in Diggs rather than have to deal with the headache of Ridley right now and Marquise Brown. Much less safe than just Diggs and Walker. I want Kenneth Walker and Diggs 100% in that trade. But Jacob is asking, I was offered Pollard for Christian Kirk and Jacoby Myers. I'd get Pollard. I mean, it depends on your options at running back and receiver. I'm just going to answer Zah's question real quick. I would take the Raiders. Oh, no, I'd actually take the Niners. I'd take the 49ers against Minnesota. I think they're going to be better. But Raiders have a very solid floor. Can't really go wrong with the Raiders either. But they're both top 3. Can't go wrong with either. Jacob is asking, I was offered Pollard for Christian Kirk and Jacoby Myers. I'd get Pollard. Yeah, I think I'd just... It depends on who you have at running back, what your depth is like at running back, and then also at receiver. But I think I'd rather have Pollard straight up. Kirk is interesting. Jacoby's been good. If it's full PPR, I would take the receivers. If it's full PPR, I take the receivers. But grind, don't stop. Did receive Diggs and Walker. Good for you, bro. Good for you. But that's gonna be it for this video. I'm gonna call it quits. I'm gonna start watching the games now that they've officially kicked off, and it's time for me to call this live stream quits. So thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that like button for me. And good luck to you. I hope you win. I'll see you next time on Nice and Blunt. Thank you.